What is up, YouTube? This is Kai and Kenan from Arguably Georgia Sports, and today we're going to be recapping Week 12 of the college football season. This is rivalry week, and a lot of good games went down, including Georgia versus Georgia Tech, which we will talk about a little. But if you want to know more about that, we will have a whole episode dedicated to it. So yeah, a lot of big games such as Ohio State and Week 13. A lot of big games such as Ohio State and Michigan also went down. So let's get ready.
The Iron Bowl, and we also had Florida State, which Florida's offense was not in that game, and we had Washington State, which was actually not as close as I thought it would be, and
So yeah, let's get right into it. Navy beating SMU, crushing SMU's hopes for a bowl game, 75-31. They dropped 75 points on them.
well, yeah, I mean there were a lot of high-scoring games, as you'll see later, and Navy's offense just went off. I mean,
Especially in the third quarter.
third quarter they scored 28 points.
And this game was close at the half.
Yeah, it was. It was
4-point game.
yeah, no, I think it was a
4-point game, yeah. It was a
Yeah.
4-point game, and then their offense.
So I mean, it's just ridiculous. Stanford getting out a win. Now they
Rice.
are ranked.
And
well,
now
they
they're
were
nine-
last week,
Now
but-
they're 9-3.
So yeah, that was 41-17 over Rice. West Virginia, Iowa State.
Beating Iowa State. Yeah.
15-19.
And here, so Vandy's beats Tennessee with the upset, but I mean, can you imagine if Florida lost to LSU? They'd still be in it. Can you imagine how sad that would be? An 8-4 team going to the SEC championship.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. But I mean, if you look at it, Tennessee, both teams didn't play any defense the whole time, except for Vanderbilt actually did. They had some defensive points, I think. So yeah, it was.
Kyle Shermer finally coming through.
Yeah, he was good. He
Florida losing to Florida State. Florida just had no offense in this game.
They have no
Zero.
offense at all. They have not scored an offensive touchdown against Florida State. For what is this the second year or the third year?
Second year in a row, I believe. No, I think it was no, because so the year before that they lost 38-7, but that was their only touchdown. So
USC Notre Dame. USC winning that 45-27.
USC
Notre Dame. What is up with this team? They were at the beginning of the season. They were looking for playoff hopes.
Yeah,
Very, but
and that Texas win was
now
looking
they're
pretty
4-8,
good.
and they haven't won any away games.
It was really sad. Kentucky upsetting Louisville.
That was amazing. Game winner, field goal from. This happens so many times when the field goal kickers. They do not actually make a field goal until the last one. I mean, I've seen this in so many games where
Not in this game.
and where instead of he actually missed several bad
Yeah,
ones.
but he made one before.
He did.
And
But I mean,
Lamar Jackson's Heisman hopes took a big hit.
But I still think he's running away with the competition. Because if you look at it, I mean, who else really contends?
And will you stop saying that Deshaun Watson is horrible, because he
He's
really
not horrible, but he's
he's a great athlete. He
yeah,
can
but
really
he shouldn't
play.
be in a Heisman.
Yes, he should. Look at his stats. Because Clemson struggled in some games doesn't mean he's a horrible quarterback, like we've been saying all year.
He's not a horrible quarterback. He's just not Heisman worthy with all of these other great people out there. Colorado.
Holding off Utah and clinching the Pac-12 South and going to the Pac-12 championship for the first time ever.
Wow.
Well, I mean, the Pac-12 championship's only like 5 years old, but
Michigan State needed this very badly. They needed a win. They needed a good win.
for their
and they
seniors,
don't have one.
you know, for their seniors,
They
put it
just
all
don't
in.
have one. And Penn State also needed it, and they got it to go into the Big Ten championship.
They whooped him. And then it looked like Minnesota at one point was running away with this game. It was 17 to 7. I think it was 17-0 at one point. And then Wisconsin just stormed back in the fourth quarter and won it. And then, honestly, look at Deshaun Watson. He threw for 347 yards, 6 touchdowns.
South Carolina has no defense.
No, South Carolina actually has a great defense because they have Will Muschamp. But if their defense cracks, they have no chance. Because, I mean, it's Will Muschamp football.
Ohio State, Michigan. What a game. The first time in the history of Ohio State, Michigan that it's gone to overtime. And it went into double overtime.
JT Barrett was stopped. He was stopped short of the line. He was stopped short of the line.
He was.
He was stopped short of the line.
It was Michigan's game. That was a terrible, terrible call for the refs. I mean, I looked at it several times, and I was actually watching college football final, and the guys were laughing at him because he's like, from my view, he was about 2 feet short. And they were saying that the ref was right there, but there was actually no ref even near there. But that was a very bad call. He was about a foot short. That wasn't. Anyway, so they were in double overtime.
And that blows away Michigan's Heisman hopes. I mean, playoff hopes.
Yeah, it does. But the problem, so they went into 1 overtime. Ohio State scored. Michigan was on the 5.
Yeah, but Ohio State showed that they're not a bad team.
They aren't. I undervalued them the whole year. Ohio State, Michigan was on the 5, 4th down, and they scored. And then Michigan got the ball again, kicked a field goal. Ohio State, 4th and 1. They were stopped short, but the refs called it. And then I think it was the very next play they scored a touchdown to win the game.
And then Alabama being predictable and beating Auburn. Just blowing away with this game.
Crazy.
It was
People
close.
all year have been saying,
No.
this team could beat Alabama.
No one ever said that.
Oh, this next team could beat Alabama.
I never ever said that.
First it was A&M, then it was LSU.
Okay, listen. Well,
and then it was Auburn, and Auburn was the worst of the 3.
That they could have.
It wasn't you.
It
was everyone else.
Everyone else said that they could have. They had chance.
Western Michigan, undefeated. Only one of 2 FBS undefeated teams.
They would beat Alabama.
Western Michigan?
Yeah, Western Michigan. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to see them try.
Memphis upsetting Houston. In a great game.
I watched pretty much this whole game. That was crazy. I had no idea how that happened.
Boise State losing to Air Force. A lot of upsets here. And then Nebraska going down to Iowa big. Iowa really turned a season that was nothing.
And Nebraska was actually, were they 9-0?
They were.
Were they 7-0?
I think they were 7-0 at one point, and they're 2-3 since then.
Washington over Washington State. And this was 45-7.
This was the first. This was the first quarter. If you take away the first quarter, Washington State could have won this game.
What are you talking about? Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Just a terrible first quarter. And then Georgia Tech beating Georgia on a great comeback. We were at the game. And we're not going to talk about it much because
we're going to make a whole separate episode on this. It is going to be called Georgia Tech 2016 Recap. So once you're finished with this, you could just search that.
And I believe that might... I have
a few more.
Well, okay, so LSU defeating Texas A&M. With that one we didn't get to. So Ed Ogeron,
54-39.
Ed Ogeron keeping the job.
He was hot. Yeah, they hired him, and also there was some other news. Texas hired
Todd Herman
and Tom Herman. Yeah, he keeps on saying Todd because
and
he
then
says it sounds
NC
better.
State upsets North Carolina to finally get over the hump and into a bowl game.
Yeah, that's good. That's really huge. Arkansas losing to Missouri. Oh, this was so bad. They were on. They had several chances to kick field goals, but they should have. There was a point in the fourth quarter they could have kicked a field goal, and then they'd have been down by 1 point, and there were 6 minutes left in.
And Charlie Strong losing in his last game.
To TCU, they're 5-7 now. He has a losing record at Texas. Baylor over Texas Tech.
Arizona.
Baylor losing to Texas Tech. Sorry.
And Arizona, who had a horrible year, was 2-9, playing Arizona State, and all they were playing for was trying to keep Arizona State out of a bowl game, and they did that
Yeah, pretty
successfully.
much. So I think that'll wrap it up.
Georgia Tech, Georgia.
Which was 28-7. Again, we'll get near it. Justin Thomas, he passed 10 times.
And he was the
And he
leader
was
of the
for
game.
164 yards.
He led the game in passing yards, and he threw the ball
Sony
10 times.
Michel for Georgia. He is not normally that great, but he rushed for 19 carries, 170 yards.
And Brad
and a touchdown.
Stewart, the punt returner, with 87 receiving yards on 2 receptions. And so, yeah, that's going to conclude this episode. A short and sweet one today. Hope you watch our next one. Like, subscribe, and as always, but not really as always, goodbye.